robust topic. We do offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored to your specific requirements. If you are interested in a further discussion, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you'll get free access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. netCom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adapting to change, and driving growth. We do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we've been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We have 9 practice areas in which we specialize. They encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation will be from the cloud practice area. netCom Learning also offers a comprehensive training portfolio for cloud courses, which you can check out there on your screens of all our offerings, and private training to the teams is also available, of which the learning plan can be customized to the specific needs of the audience. You can also access a variety of cloud marketing assets, such as our free 2-hour training, by clicking on the available webinar handout. These offerings can be found with a simple search on our website at netcomlearning.com. So why should you attend today's webinar? Well, in the session, you'll learn about several interesting Azure concepts, such as efficient migration strategy, defining a data transfer strategy, exploring data availability, and much more. And now I'd like to give you a quick overview of the logistics before we get started. To begin with, you do have the option to adjust the window size to your liking. Simply hit the Escape key and find the Zoom button on the top left corner of your GoToWebinar viewer. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters. Feel free to submit any questions you do have for the presenters here in the questions pane, and we'll address them at the end of the session. And to get the best out of today's webinar, we've also included slides, courses we talk about, marketing assets, and the handouts, which is in the section of your GoToWebinar viewer. And you can refer to them at any time to get a better understanding of the topic. And we do realize that many of you have to leave early. I want to let you know that as you leave today's session, you'll be presented with a short survey. We would like you to take a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback is very valuable to the learning experience and helps us improve for our future sessions. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. And now finally, I am going to pass this over to our presenter, to Usama. Usama, here we go. I'm going to give you the screen. Okay, go ahead. You are live.
I'm live. Am I audible, guys? Can you hear me clearly?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Fantastic. Let me just make sure that screens are correctly in order. Can we just minimize this whole? Okay, I'll just turn it off the camera. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Usama, and I'm a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional and Experienced. I've been in this industry for the last 20 years and experienced across 5 different continents, implement multi-million-dollar infrastructures for banks, commercial services, healthcare, and retail services in past. I definitely try to share some awesomeness of the cloud with you guys. I have a few things in mind that I'd like to really address in this classroom. Enterprises nowadays are defining a complex multi-operational businesses and that serve a customer at the larger scales. And also SMEs and small companies, they are building more innovation and startups as well. And the cloud, including the old form of cloud, we're talking about the infrastructure as service, we're talking about the PaaS platform, we're talking about also the SaaS, the software as service nature of offering as well, has become increasingly most effective way of running your cloud businesses or cloud-centric.
Oh, I just want to interrupt, Usama. Can you just share the screen? We can hear you, but can't see. Yeah, can't see the slides.
You're just going to get that one. You're just going to get that one. I'll share this. You cannot see screen at all?
Yeah, so
Because,
just hit share my screen.
can you see my screen?
Now we can. Beautiful. Perfect.
Okay, so now, so as what I was talking about earlier, that it becomes significantly important for organization to comply with the cloud. There are several things that may trigger the cloud migration, and that's the kind of like a discussion that we wanted to have here. We have earlier talked about it, a few things that the organizations try to adopt the modern cloud technology. The reason they want to adopt the modern cloud technology because they want to comply their compliance as well. They want to strengthen their compliance. They want to make sure that their data protection will be state of the art out there on the benchmark. They have to run within the given challenges of the market as well. They have to run on the pace that is a new market is basically evolving or working around it out there. So before we jump into this whole migration scenario, I would just like to explain a few things here. There are a few things that trigger migration, and what trigger migration, it really impact that how migration need to be planned. New acquisition. Normally data centers that reaching their end of life, so because data centers are expensive for human resources. Maybe there are thousands of things that we can talk about it, that why data centers and running your own infrastructure is expensive. Not only expensive, also it is sometimes become a bottleneck for company growth. Because the concept of a CapEx here, that you basically, the capital expenditure, you have to pay for every single thing in advance to get in your house. And from day one, the cost is very high and the implementation time is very high. And you want to be more agile, you want to be more automated, you want to be more fast innovation that you need in-house as well. Many people have the concept in mind that the migration is the result of the cost saving because it's cost benefits. No, you might surprise with it. Cost is definitely one of the key factor when it triggers the migration, but another important aspect, the way the innovation move in the industry, the way that the modern technology evolved over the time period, the way that servers have been obsoleted in a very fast pace out there, the way the security threats are out there, the way that the fast life cycle of changing software and refreshing hardware that need to be out there, the way the compliance is basically enhancing out there. In past, the compliance being changed in years, now it happens every month, week, and days as well. Application need to be more innovative. They need pre-built solutions so they can reduce time to live market. They need a modern application to support their architecture or their decisions. That basically give birth to the concept of a cloud acquisition out there. So cloud normally triggered by a different segment as well. So if you are basically trying to exiting data center, you're basically targeting the concept of cost out there. The major outcome of your migration should be cost focus out there. Merger and acquisition, you're basically reduction the size of a technical complexity in your architecture and simplify, unify that one as well. Respond to the regulations and the compliance that your organization or your industry or your region try to comply with it. If that is the reason that you want to move on a cloud, cloud going to help you as a result, preparing a new technical capabilities in-house that you can comply within a given solution, build your innovation on it, but you don't have to really look into the actual benefits, or you don't have to really look into the every single aspect of compliance. You will really rely, you basically have a shared complex. You basically here is a concept here that called shared responsibility, where you outsource many of your tasks to the cloud solution provider. The more you go from PaaS to infrastructure to PaaS, the responsibility slowly shift towards the vendor, and you do really less. So you have to identify your motive. It helps you to pin down your strategy, your migration goals. That what you have to do, what's the next step that you want to plan. Let me just quickly. So today we're going to talk about determining the strategy, availability, and data transfer in Azure. So these are the main topics that we can talk about. The first thing, the better migration is start within the planning. Tools such as Microsoft uh, Azure and they provide you the complete frameworks. It helps you to design and comply with your given strategies as well. But it starts within the planning. The first thing that you have to think about, the first thing that you want to implement, it understanding your digital state. Digital state is identifying your own premises infrastructure dependencies. This basically help you to identify the workload that need to be migrated on Azure and need to be optimized. If you're going to use your virtual machine environment and put them in a cloud, you cannot get the best ROI. The best ROI comes within an app modernization, leveraging more cloud native solutions. And there are a few things that might be not supported at all. So the planning phase is extremely critical. So defining a strategy, it's basically 6-step goals, or if you simplify that one into 3 steps: plan, readiness, and adoption. Microsoft, Amazon kind of cloud vendors, they have prepared their advanced framework for that one. That is basically a collection of guidelines and also the collection of best practices they offer to you, they offer to us. We can go learn and use those tools to prepare better, make better decisions, understand what is the best for us and what we have to do before we jump into this pool. In this particular case, since we're doing this thing on a very high level, but if you guys are really interested in these topics and you guys are going through some migration or planning, you are an architect that you want to really pursue your career in an area and find or like to know about what are things not to do and what are things that must need to do, what are the checklists to migration, I highly recommend Microsoft course that called AZ 305. There are detailed discussions about migrations and lots of design, architecture, implementations, concept build clear, and my team can help you to just plug one of them. Also, you have to understand that what workload is being used out there. So another important part of the planning is basically assessment and discovery. You need something that can assess and identify your workload on premises, that what you're running, what are dependencies, what workload you're using. It's SQL Server, it's virtual machines, how big your infrastructure is out there, what's my network requirement, how I can optimize that. And the second most important step is to prepare our Azure, prepare our infrastructure to it becomes cloud ready. What is cloud ready? You need to skill your teams. You need to create landing zones. You have to find the best practices. You have to expand the new landing zones as well. So ready for Azure, the server that can be migrated directly to Azure, the virtual machines that can easily migrate to Azure out there. The conditional ready, there's another term that we use, the servers that migrate to Azure, but they need a minor changes. And there are few workloads that cannot migrate on Azure at all, like Unix servers, some old applications, 2003 Windows servers. And there are few states, they are unknown, that need to be basically defined out there. Like if you have a SQL server, moving that one in a cloud, you have a several of options. And the better planning and consumption analysis can help you to optimize your cost. For example, Microsoft provides you the capability that if you know how much your consumption, I'll give you a very simple case area out there. You have a one SQL Server box. I believe each one of you guys have a SQL Server box at some state of your life. SQL Server box that we're running on premises costs $1 million approximate a year. And if you know that what consumption that you're going to need or going to accommodate or going to utilize in a cloud, you can go to Microsoft and tell, okay, we have a hybrid benefits and we have something that called reserve instance in Microsoft. So we need this. Reserve instance can get you 70% off, but it comes that if you know that how much consumption you needed, you can commit it and pay upfront and get 75% discount. It's a huge amount. So you can really reduce the cost by modernization. I can really turn it off things. I can move them into the Azure SQL. I can get rid of VMs, labor that required to manage, and lots of other variables out there. So how data need to be optimized? How data need to be moved out there? What workloads out there? How I can plan that one out there? And this planning, it's not only about the server. It's about the testing environments. It's about the training, that how I can prepare my digital transformation in an organization. A solid training foundation is the key of success for any organization. Microsoft Learning is really built so many courses around it. And there's one of the fundamentals point that organization basically understand to fail. It's basically training. Network requirement, you have to understand that how much latency, bandwidth, and that you may get it out there. It's not your own computer, it's on the cloud, somebody else is hosting. What's the latency and what kind of user demography you have. You have to keep this thing in mind. Permission and access management, identity, security, and the process to migrate. All those challenges you will face over the period of time. And you need to find a most optimal answer for that one before you're going to end up in a situation where you don't want the problem to be unsolvable. So there are so many scenarios that I personally have seen in my career, that organization go with the lesser plannings in their bucket, or the lesser planning concept, and then they end up in a strategy where they don't know what they have to do. They don't know, means do they have to host a VM, they have to go within the virtual machines, they have to go for Azure SQL, the PaaS platform. What's the right strategy, how we can comply? And that starts with the readiness as well. So when we talk about the readiness, so we talk about the migration as well. You have to select the tool, that which tool can really help you to achieve that thing out there. So the first thing, as I say, that we divided our whole migration into 3 different segments: access, migrate, and the readiness. If you guys can see this particular screen of mine, that basically gives you the pretty nice idea. If you want to assess your current environment, your data environment, Microsoft has tools for you that basically can provide you Azure Migrate, Azure Migration Assessment, SQL Server Assistant, that help you to assess the current environment and evaluate and discover the assets that you have, understand the dependency with the minimal effort. Then these tools can help you to migrate that one in a cloud, Azure Site Recovery, Azure Migration Services, and Azure Data Box for offline capabilities, and lots of third-party partners. And then optimize your security, monitoring, and different check holes that you have to understand. It is also important to understand the scenario of the adoption as well. And it is worth considering the pros and cons for the migration strategies as well, that what migration strategy that we're going to comply with. So there is one basic concept of a migration that called RS5, that called relationalization strategies of cloud computing in the world out there. And there are different 5 strategies there is access. Number 1, as you can see in my screen, it basically called rehost. It's sometimes referred as lift and shift as well. In this particular strategy, we normally try to migrate our solution as it is, just moving our virtual machines. Just literally moving our virtual machines that we have in place. We try to quickly ship them in a cloud out there. Moving application from the virtual machine environment is the easiest thing. That does not make a much change or much requirement on the systems as well. So the actual application literally don't have any change out there. It is support to the legacy workload and limited cloud capabilities needed, limited cloud skills needed. So it is the most easiest form. The advantage of that strategy, it's smaller of breaking the applications, so smaller the risk of breaking applications. If we talk about the con for that particular strategy that we're talking about here, let me just plug my pen here. So if you talk about the con about this one, it might be use more resources of cloud computing, and it is not a viable situation out there. It's not a viable solution, because scalability and extendability is still a challenge here. It's difficult out there, and you're not leveraging cloud at its max. You are just migrating your virtual machines from your on-premises to Azure cloud. But everything beneath that, everything on top of operating system, like a guest operating system, it is still your responsibility. Then we have another strategy that we call refactoring, or sometimes people call it repackaging as well. Refactoring, repackaging is a moving application to Azure with some code changes, not a lot, some code changes, but major overall of the application will remain the same out there. It allows you to leverage the Microsoft PaaS platform, like using Azure SQL app services. So for suppose you have an application running in IaaS, so you're running a whole box for the IaaS, just running one web application. Move that one for the app containers, or move that one for the app service. You have on a SQL, we can use Azure SQL as well. So these are the small changes, but it will give you the far more great advantages. Sensitive business critical data can be hosted, and it can avoid the any kind of concerns around availability and scalability. Most common cloud services are integrated in the DevOps pipeline. Most optimal cloud services or PaaS platforms are optimized for the cost, scalability, and availability out of the box, and they are more secure. And then we have another option here that basically we call re-architect. Re-architecting strategy involving the revamping of a code base. Whole application will going to move to the cloud native, using Azure functions, using app services, using database as service, using containers. It is suitable, and the application that need a maximum agility, the application that need a very advanced level of scalability, high availability, cloud flexibility, the best returns on investment. Basically, you have to adopt that. Try to build working around the cloud. I do require a pretty much amount of code change out there, but it doesn't mean that you have to change everything. You may have to refactor that one, some pieces. But there are few applications that are totally need to be built from the scratch. Like you have some console applications, some old application that cannot be really moved in the cloud. The cloud doesn't support that one out there, or you want to really build something from a scratch. So rebuild strategy involving putting the old application on a side and building from the scratch. And using modern technique, best practices, cloud PaaS platform, and more agile management as well. So you try to leverage serverless architecture, try to leverage the microservice architecture, and most optimal form of a cloud. The con of that particular adoption is basically you become so cloud-centric or platform-centric. That means you will be basically around a completely custom solution, and the cost will be definitely a big matter. Like replacing SQL Server with Cosmos DB, replacing your own application with an Azure functions. These are the some things out there. If you're a developer and really want to learn those things, I highly recommend to explore our course outline for AZ 204 that basically explain developers how they can leverage Microsoft products to build amazing sustainable application with a lesser effort. So don't reinvent the wheel. Just use the wheel that Microsoft has built out there. Another important thing, it's the journey of Azure migration as well. So you basically assessment, is the whole concept is planning. You basically do assessment in a planning phase, and then you decide that what workload going to be basically refactored, what going to be rebuilt, what going to be lift and shift. And once it's done, then we're going to be moving a cloud out there. And if you take a look to this particular use case diagram that I have collected, it basically a one single scenario out there, where user basically use Microsoft tool to perform this task, to evolve the strategy. You download the compliance and you basically install on your local computer device, which basically going to analyze and collect data from all the services that you are running in-house and create a complete assessment report and tell that what is a current readiness. Can it move in a cloud and where it can move? And what changes does it require to perform out there? So it can do all this discovery, collect that metadata, and put back that one in the cloud out there. It's just going to put that one back in the cloud. So you have a complete assessment ready in a cloud that as a project you can manage, as a product you can evaluate. And it simplifies the way that you want to basically use those applications as well. Also, Azure Migrate, it's another cool tool that basically provide you great capabilities of implementation as well. It provides the great length of security that can be integrated as well. It provides you data protection, fast moving as well. Azure Migrate is kind of like a tool that it's like a one-stop shop for all your needs. It can really provide you all the integration at once, and it can help you to migrate your data. It can help you to migrate your services. So you are literally not bound to one specific segment. You are not bound to one specific items here, and or one tool. You do have an option for other tools and services that may you consider or may you want to use out there. This tool can really help you to plan, evaluate, discover, visualize all your data sets, all your requirement at once. And it will create a complete assessment plan for you and help you to migrate with a seamless effort and an automated and scalable fashion. So it can basically provide you end-to-end visibility. So you can see that one example here, that after running a small appliance discovery, I able to discover the list of servers, and I able to create assessments as well, that what is requirement out there. And I can run multiple type of servers as well, server migration tools out here, data migration tools. So I have a variety of options that can help me to determine and visualization tool that what is my priorities, to which workloads I have to move, what are the changes that are required, and which strategy I have to comply, and then I can start implementing my plan. I can select not only Microsoft tools, I do have an option for lots of third party and I can use them as well. And Azure Migrate is one of these tools that can really help you to completely automate that process, completely create and functional that one out there from on-premises to cloud. It has a compatibility to just design in networks assessment, virtual machine assessment, application assessment, workload assessment. It can create all sort of assessment for you from your infrastructure, guide you with the right sizing and alternative in a cloud. And optimizational trigger can also decide, can help you to decide that what particular technique that you should be using. Once you basically reach that particular point, you have to basically select the right tool for you out there. So Azure Migrate for server, it can provide you server migration and movement as well. And you do have a mover for third-party app. If you want to move your databases, Azure Migrate provide you database assessment out there, that called database migrate assessment. And you can migrate that one for my data migration service. They have a built-in data migration service. And this data migration service can help you to move things in a cloud. Azure Data Migration Service offer and provide the guideline and the migration process for SQL Server, Cosmos, Postgre, DB2, MySQL, and even alternative for other databases as well. And there are lots of partners in this area, like Volume, OTM, NetApp. There are different third-party vendors also come in this area. Then you also have web applications, one of the big workloads that can help you to migrate as well. So you can really use Azure Web Assessment. It's one tool, one single pane that providing you all this goodness, one single pane that help you to achieve all that as well. What virtual identity solution that you want, what VDI solution you want, Azure Migrate can help you to migrate your solution directly to the cloud by using its technology that called Azure Migrate Server Migration, and comply that one and integrate that one with Azure Virtual Desktop. And when it comes for Azure Desktop, you have Azure Data Box. Where the Azure Data Box comes, and what is Azure Data Box? Because when you migrate in a cloud, you talk of the first thing, you talk about the network in a cloud. You talk about the movement of a data, that how much data that you want to move, and type of movement. It can be online or offline, and the size of data. If data is super critical, data is it's super big, and that cannot be plugged directly to the internet, or it is not possible to have a private channel like a fiber optics based channel that called Microsoft Express route. You should be considering data box. It's an offline data transaction capabilities. So the platform capability, any platform, it can cover agentless, agentful, create an inventory of application. You can visualize that one. I'm going a bit faster on this particular node because this is a high-level overview. That once the assessment is done, you can really run this compliance discover and find the alternative in a cloud match. And from the portal, you can deploy. You can just copy completely all your configuration in the cloud and replicate this in one. And the process will something look like that. That from your VMware host to that, how it's going to migrate in a cloud out there. And all this happen over HTTP in a highly secure environment. But that's a connected situation. That's a connected situation. Now, another thing that we have to talk about it, we have to talk about the Azure availability. One of the key reasons that companies try to go on a cloud because of its high available and resilience architecture. It provides us a capability that we can store, replicate data across multiple regions. What is region? Regions made up of multiple data centers that define with the geographical boundaries and geopolitical boundaries that respect the data compliance, that respect the data governance, that respect the data residency. So Azure have more than 62 regions across the globe. It's more than 62 regions. It's a large number. In every country, you have, almost like all major countries, you have those regions are available, where you can decide the region that is based on the cost, latency, and compliance. So it gives you the great flexibility, automated replication, data resiliency, and also provide the great way of complying with your data residency laws. So this one is basically not updated. So now they have a 62 because they have Dubai and they have Doha as well. So they have a few more, and there are more coming. And it's the largest number of data centers in any public cloud as available as Microsoft has. How Microsoft provide you these resiliency means what advantage I'll get in a cloud when I go in a cloud. So first thing, platform provided replication and high available mechanics. Means I have configured high available architecture on premises for years, and I have seen that how critical those workloads are, how much effort they need, how much resources are required out there. And we divided our architecture into two different segments out there. One is availability and the other one is DR, the part of business continuity. DR is something that if a disaster happened, then I want to replicate my data to some other site and I can access in a case of disaster. Mostly read-only, silent side that will be available in at least 300 miles away from my data or my actual data center. So any physical disaster will happen, that will be normally the cross radius. So it will be away from that. But it required lots of things. You have to manually configure virtual machine replication, application state configuration, SQL Server configuration, cluster management, application supportability, data migrations, synchronization, asynchronous synchronization, synchronized synchronizations, cost, redundancy. All that is simplified by the platform. Microsoft provides you some other feature for the virtual machines, for example, that called availability zone. Availability zone is a unique physical location in Azure region. Each zone is made up of a multiple data center and equipped with multiple independent power cooling network capability. You can deploy your virtual machines into multiple availability zones where they can automatically replicate your workload across multiple data centers, to provide you a resiliency within the single click and platform defined navigation, platform defined replication capability, which means you are not responsible for that. In across region, so across data center failures, if whole data center goes down, you still have an access from another place. Whole region goes down, you have a geo region capabilities available as well. For storage, you have a GRS capability. So geo redundant storage, read access as well. So you have those capabilities available that can help you to achieve a point of failure as well. Another important thing that you guys have to understand here, that data migration. So when it comes for data migration, I just like to sum up my theory here. This is my presentation. And just to be noted that data box, it's basically an offline service, but Microsoft do provide you multiple methods and capabilities that can help you to move your data from on-premises to Microsoft Azure. It depends on compliance, it depends on the availability, and depend on a transfer. So you want an offline shippable device. So Microsoft have data box heavy, data box, and data box disk. If the size of that migration is less than 50 terabytes, Microsoft recommend either use online methods like easy copy portal, migration services, gateways that can online migrate the data to the cloud by through connected network. But if the data size grow more than 500 or terabytes, it is sometimes become impossible to move that kind of huge data sets through what we can say the connected networks. So, or sometimes data is super sensitive that it cannot be migrated over connected networks, and it need a quicker way to find that, ship that one to Azure and start working with it out there. Migration can be optimized. That Microsoft data heavy, data box heavy, and data box disk are the offline appliances you can order from Microsoft and plug that into your data center, do a offline migration, and ship that one to the cloud. You do have other methods and sustainable architecture to develop a hybrid topology. You can use Data Factory and many other tools to establish a connection between on-premises and cloud to regular data migration. And these tools and these services are really help organization to fast innovate and comply within a fast pace of a challenges that market demands. And you now get an idea that what Azure actually offer. If you want to master all those services, if you want to really know about in detail, in depth, that how those services work and what are the each functionality they offer and how we can configure that, we have tons of courses in this area. I personally recommend that the people who are more on a design side should explore Microsoft courses for security, Microsoft courses for like CS 500, CS 100, AC 500, AC 305. These are the courses designed and architected for out there. So if you are one who have some experience in Azure and you want to planning a migration, you should take in that course out there. If you are the one who would like to do a more hands-on experience, who really want to know the product and how it need to be configured, highly recommend to explore AZ 104 exams and AZ 900 for everyone who want to know the fundamental capabilities and services that offer by Azure. I hope so you liked my today's session, and it was a pleasure to share my knowledge with you guys. Thank you for being here. That's all from my side. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much for that super informative webinar, Usama. And now I'm going to pass this over to Amitash, who is our vendor manager, who's going to introduce you to all of our amazing promotions and other webinar-related courses. Go ahead, Amitash.
Is it me or I can't hear him? Means I can't hear you. If you guys saying something,
Yeah,
I can't hear
Amitash,
you.
can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Tracy. netCom Learning. I'm here to introduce netCom Learning as one of the leading training partners of Microsoft, and we are one of the leaders in cloud training industry. So yes, one of the things that I want to share with you is netCom Learning won the Microsoft Training Partner of the Year award this year, and we had 3,900 plus submissions this year, and from 100 countries. So we were one of the leaders in this segment. So we won this award, and we have also in the last we have been in the business from the 1998. So in the last 24 years, we have trained 14,000 plus enterprise customers, 150K plus professionals, and we have a vast portfolio of instructors, 1,000 plus certified instructors. So this is just an overview of how big we are and how we have been in this industry, training industry. And to go ahead, So we offer training from various technology vendors like Microsoft, AWS, Cisco, CompTIA, EC Council. So we have many vendors. So this is just whatever you're seeing on the screen are some of our top vendors. So apart from this, we also provide training for even other technology vendors as well. So today's session, whatever you went through, learning the fundamentals of designing migrations with Microsoft Azure. For this training session, we also have a recorded thing available. So to access this recordings, you'll be able to click on this link. A handout is given out to you. So with this link, you'll be able to access the same recording session, whatever you've gone through today. So apart from it, one other, since we are running short of time, I will take you through our promotions first. So yeah, since we are almost towards the end of the year, we have a great campaign running at this time. That is a gift card campaign. If you take a course from us, which is worth like $5,000, you'll be getting a gift card of $500. In the same way, if you take a course worth $2,500 from us, you'll be getting a gift card of worth $250. So the gift cards will be of like Amazon, Microsoft, and American Express. You can also choose to go for the discounts if you do not want the e-gift cards which we give out to you. And you can sign up for this offer before 31st December and take the course anytime before 31st March 2023. So this is one of our offers that we are offering at this time. Apart from it, we also have the Microsoft Skilling Plan, which will actually help you to build your technological skills in your teams, be it Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, Power Platform, or even Azure. So you can actually build your skills faster. We have great offers even at this point, actually. So to check out, to learn more about this Microsoft Skilling Plan that we have, you can just click on this link here and you'll be able to go through the plan. So apart from it, I'll also take you through the courses. So we have gone through this course related to migrations today. So as a next step, you'll be able to take up all these courses that you can see here: DP300, AZ104, DP203. Or if you want to start with the fundamentals, there's the AZ900, DP900, AI 900, and the others. So all the links to these courses are also available here. You can just click on this link and you'll be landing in a page which will take you through the course in a much detailed way. So this is about it. This is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for that informative information about all the great courses that we will be offering to our attendees. So please check those out. And once again, we want to remind all of you that as you do leave the session today, you'll be presented with a short survey. We would like your help by taking a quick moment to participate in the survey, because your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience as we are constantly looking at how we can improve our future sessions. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. And we do want to thank all of you for joining us today. And if you do come up with any additional questions, feel free to send them to webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. And again, there is our quick poll for you guys to quickly fill out for us. We hope that you found today's webinar informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us soon. Feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Have a great day, everyone.
Signing off? Are we signing off here? Tracy, are we signing off? Tracy, should I sign off from here?